Hi guys, in today's episode of Taylor Talks Trades, we are with Wayne Archibald from ECEC. He's talking about adult apprenticeships, surrounding yourself with the right people in business, and how he was born with a set of snips in his hands. I hope you enjoy. Well Wayne, thanks for coming on mate.
Hi, thanks for having me. Delighted to be here.
We always just start with how you actually got into the trades to start with then.
Well, I was actually born with a set of snips in my hands. No, I'm joking. So, my uncle, started working with my uncle Kenny. He's got his own company in Edinburgh, Oven Electric. So, Kenny and Callum, my partners. When I was at school, I was like, I'd done well at school, but like I knew I wanted to do it as quick as possible. So I kind of like finished my exams, and I was one of the youngest in my year. So I was 15 when I actually left. So I applied to get extended work experience. That was the only way I could get out before I was 16. So I done my last exam, and then the following week I went to do an extended work experience with my Uncle Kenny.
Brilliant.
Thinking that would take me on to an apprenticeship. I had it life set out. I would get an apprenticeship with him, and then that would be me. But he always said to me he wasn't going to give me an apprenticeship, and to be honest, now I'm actually quite grateful that he never, because it opened my eyes to like more to the trade, because he was just domestic side of things, so it's all like domestic works. But doing the extended work experience, I learned a lot just by doing that from a young age as soon as I left school, and then obviously I enjoyed it, and then I realised I was actually quite good at it, so obviously I pursued the career of getting an apprenticeship with a bigger company that could offer a better apprenticeship and things like that. So kind of like most people starting out, I applied to loads of companies, loads of different companies, falling on deaf ears. Had a few interviews with people that I see as my competitors now, which is quite funny in a roundabout way. And then I eventually did get my apprenticeship with Scottish Hydro Contracting at the time, who are now SSE, which is actually a funny story as well, because I was working on a job with my Uncle Kenny and that, and my mum and that got a letter through, and I was like, just open it, and it said that I was unsuccessful, I never got the apprenticeship.
Right.
But they had actually made a mistake. So my manager at the time phoned me and says, listen, we've made a mistake. You were actually one of the guys that we wanted to take on because you've got like a year's experience doing electrical, blah, blah, blah. So there was actually an extra apprentice. There was 3 years it was meant to start. There was actually 4 apprentices that started that year. So somebody was there that wasn't meant to be there. So it was always a wee running joke trying to find out who the guy that wasn't meant to be there.
That's quite funny. And what? So you started off with your uncle, and that was sort of domestic, then sort of going about like homeowners and stuff, and SSE's more commercial. So that's how you started to gain that experience and tie it all.
So with SSE, it was a great apprenticeship, brilliant. I'd done a bit of everything, to be honest with you.
Is that 4 years?
4 years,
4 years, right.
4 years,
It's a roofing one then.
Aye, so
you need to be a bit smarter for the electrician. I've been told, but I don't know.
So basically we've done a bit of everything with Scottish Hydro, which was small domestic stuff as well, but not as small as just like your house bashing type of stuff. It was like more residential, like care homes, things like that, and then obviously your bigger construction commercial sites like multi-storey office blocks and things like that. Your bigger, larger containment, bigger cables. Good
bit of knowledge then. How did you transition then for that point to the like where you are now? Is it straight into kind of ECEC or?
No. I mean, you think I'd been around for years, to be honest. I've done a bit of everything, to be honest, which is why I think I eventually went myself.
Yep.
Because I kind of I've worked offshore. I worked in Australia in the mining industry, like doing electrification of the railway, worked up and down the UK on supermarkets and things like that as well. So I was always busy. Like I like to be busy. Like at one point I wasn't touching my wages. I was making money from my own homeowners and things like that. So I was always had that drive to go out and get my own work and things like that. And what was I saying?
Just going to see. So where you transitioned for sort of. Like, when did you first go into sort of business for yourself then?
So I actually tried to go into business for myself at quite a young age, to be honest. I think I was about 2021 when I first tried, and I think it was round about like, see the 2008 thing and that, when work was drying up and that, and I was always like to keep myself busy. Like, I actually left SSE to go and work down south, chasing the money on the supermarkets, and that dried up after about 3-4 months, and that's when everything hit and it all dried up, and I was like, I was jumping about in a big motor thinking I was a man. I was like, am I doing, man, silly laddie. But then I just started doing my own work, out about the car and stuff like that. And then that's when I started my own, like on my own, working for myself, started picking up more like domestic work, extensions for builders and all that kind of stuff. And then my mate Davey, he started working with me, and then the contact that we had doing the supermarkets and that, I reached back out to them, and we started doing that as a subby. So we were travelling up and down Britain, making good money again, catching all of that. And then basically the two of us went to Australia. So I had a few of our mates were already in Australia, and we're like, we want to do it. So we just saved up a bit of money for the supermarkets and both went to Australia. And then when I was coming back from Australia, I was like, I'm not going back to just do that again. I wanted something else, and that's when I booked my tickets for offshore. Done the offshore a couple of years, and then I realised, but I kept like my own wee thing going. So when I was onshore, I was still working, and me and Davey were kind of working together. And then Davey was picking up like his own work while I was offshore as well. So it was like done a couple of years.
And was Davey offshore as well?
So no, he never went offshore. Right. He wouldn't catch him offshore. He'd be too scared of the helicopters, to be honest. Mate. So and then that was it. We kind of had the conversation. It was like, let's have a proper go at it. I'm going to quit offshore. I says it's no for me. It's not enjoyable. It's past like the honeymoon stage of working offshore. I was like, this isn't for me. Obviously I've got kids and that as well, so we kind of came together, and that's where ECEC started. So it started as a partnership. And
it's mostly commercial then, or is it a bit of everything?
To start with, it was a mix between commercial, mostly domestic, because we were still doing the supermarket stuff, and then obviously picking up more and more builders works, extensions, renovations and stuff like that. And then obviously that all changed as well. Like it started a partnership, and then as my mindset grew, like I wanted to take things further, I wanted to grow it bigger, and me and Davey kind of grew apart as partners, and then eventually it ended up me taking over the business myself. And obviously I still feel like I'm only getting started. Obviously, like I like to grow my mind, I like to listen to other business owners, like that's why I'm through talking to yourself. I'm inspired, Bella.
Nah, I'm only kidding. It's good. It's we cover that on the podcast a bit. It's like the importance of surrounding yourself with people that's probably either doing the same thing or doing something that you want to do, and just having that positive mindset. And I suppose as well, it's like it's just sharing the lows as well, do you know, and just being like, this was really tough, but I went through, and like that's what I'm hoping that the audience listening can get, is that it's not just an upward trajectory. There is like ups and downs, and there's highs and lows. Like what you were saying with the sort of 2008 recession there. Like we were having a conversation earlier about like there might be a recession kind of on the horizon again, and it's like, would you be saying to people then like maybe to try and no go and chase the money? Because I know there's a lot of trades out there now that probably want to go and chase the money, but you've seen in 2008 that didn't last for long.
Well, that's funny. I talk about it a lot, but obviously I think like the whole COVID crap and all that carry on that's went on. I think a lot of people have went to work for themselves because like they were furloughed, lost their jobs, and thought, came up to this myself. They've enjoyed it and thought, I'm making good money here myself. But long-term sustainability of that, unless you're learning to grow a business, actually the ins and outs, like knowing your numbers and all that carry on, then you will fall flat on your face. Like, and I put my hands up. I've done it. I've hit the lowest of lows. Like, even just splitting up as a partnership with my mate Davey, that was a low for me. It was one of the hardest things I went through. And then you make the mistakes, like too keen to take on projects that you've maybe not got the right team to manage, and then you get burnt that way. You lose a lot of money, and then you're going back the way, scaling it back, but you're constantly learning as long as you've got that vision to keep pushing forward and learn from the mistakes that you've made to be better and do better and have the right people in place to actually deliver. Then but I think a lot of people that are working for themselves, just like we were saying, I think some people might need the security to work with a business where you're looked after, where the work's there for the next 2-3 years to get through like the bumpy times that are going to come. Know what I mean?
It's hard because we've all just, as business owners, we've all just came through COVID, and then it looks as though like everything's going to tighten up a wee bit again due to this kind of so-called recession. And that's like my view on that is probably like just treat it with the respect it deserves. Be realistic that look, it is a real thing, but communicate in with your team and saying, look, we are probably heading into a wee bit of uncharted waters, but we've just already done it in COVID, so let's just do the same approach again and just all kind of muck in together. And I know that there's just so much happening out there where like the wages are through the roof. There's companies that's just like they need the men or they will only survive, so they're just paying any money. But to me, it's like, is that sustainable? I just don't know. It probably isn't, it, to be honest. So it's trying to sort of, I guess, give people a place to work that they're going to be valued and they're going to have a bit of job security. And ultimately, as business owners, that's what we're doing, is putting ourselves on the line to make sure that these people are on jobs and you know, keep the security there for them. And what about apprenticeships then, Wayne? So I think you're quite big on apprenticeships for what I see looking in.
I mean, we've just started another 2 this year, so that's like a first year apprentice through the full college and another adult apprentice. We've already got Gregor, who qualified as an electrician. He was our first hire. He came to us as a like new trade, like all new to him. Basically, he says he wanted to change his career, and now you look at him and he's a good guy. Like,
I think I've seen one of your videos where I
could see a lot of me in him. Like he puts hands to anything. Like he'll ask the right questions and he'll take on board what he's getting taught. And I just want all the guys to be like that as well. Like not be scared to ask questions, but willing to learn and willing to do what it takes to get to that level. And even when you qualify as an electrician, you're still learning. Know what I mean? You still need to be willing to put yourself out there and ask questions and get your hands dirty, basically. Instead of just getting a ticket and then going demanding Playboy wages elsewhere, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just not going to happen, eh? You'll just fall flat on your face.
I've heard a good few people recently talking about the adult apprenticeship. Like, what's the sort of, what would you say is the main benefits of that then? Is it because people's like a wee bit older, they've had a wee bit more life experience, they're kind of, it's like, can they learn faster? Is it easier for them to adapt to it? What's your kind of opinion on that? I know you're catering to both sides, but just...
me personally, I think they know that this is their big opportunity, like to basically make a changing point in their life, or like they might have young families, or might be planning on families, have houses and stuff like that. So they're no daft laddies that are going out getting steaming every weekend and not turning up on a Monday or making an asset kind of thing. They know this is a big opportunity, and like you get more loyalty out there. And to be honest, like, there's a lot of good young guys out there as well that can do the exact same, but I can't wait to say on this podcast, but like the younger generation from when we were younger, they're a lot softer, and they want everything, like they want to be mollycoddled and all that carry on, whereas like the adults are like, they're not scared to get their hands dirty. You know what I mean? Like they can hand a drill, they can hand a hammer. You know what I mean? They're willing to do what it takes.
You ever thought about so? See how you went and did the bit with your uncle, and then before you started your apprenticeship, we've had other people on the podcast who's mentioned that they'd done like a year and then they went and like that's what I did with my apprenticeship as well. Like I had phoned round all the companies, same as yourself. A lot it was falling on deaf ears, but then I got offered kind of 2 positions. One was with a bricklayer that was just like, look, you'll just be a brickie, no qualifications, no nothing. It's just like, you'll be a brickie, you'll make X amount a week. At the time, it was good money, if I remember back. The other one was a roofing apprenticeship. And what my old boss Colin at the time, what he said was, he was like, look, you've kind of missed the college cut-off date there or thereabouts, but if you come along, you apply yourself like properly for a year, I'll put you to college next year. And that almost gave me like see what you're talking about with the adult apprenticeship, it's like, it almost feels like a last chance. That to me, I was like, well, I've got to have a good year here, or I'm not getting my apprenticeship that I've always wanted. And I just went in and I just like made sure that like the tradesmen that were there were like, I want to take Jamie, like I want to work with him. Like when I wasn't busy, I'd be doing tidying vans out for them and just always doing something, speaking to the customers politely and just trying to really just showcase over that 12-month period that like I'll be worthy an apprenticeship next year. And he did. To be fair, that like I did my bit and then he stuck to his word and I went and done my apprenticeship and like really grateful for that opportunity. But do you think that could be a route for people like coming in and maybe doing a year before they go to any college or anything like that?
Well, definitely, because like there's a lot of young laddies or girls as well these days that get thrown out there because their parents say like go and do it, but like they really need to want to do it themselves.
They want to get in the trades.
They might be thinking, I didn't want to be getting my hands dirty with working on sites. But
not get your hands dirty in electrical game.
Shocking, delete. But even like just getting the feelers out there and actually getting involved with a trade, and like they might work with other trades, and like, you know what, I like the look of that. Like, you might be working with a plumber, and you might see a joiner, and you're like, you know what, that's me interested in being a joiner. That's right up my street, or being an electrician or a roofer or a painter. It kind of opens your eyes, and then just by having that trade behind you, it opens doors. You know what I mean? Like you've got something to fall back on. It's not just a case of like going out and wasting years at like your uni and all that stuff. Like, get a trade behind you, and then you can go and open doors.
You travel the world, like
you
you've
can go
done.
offshore, you can go to Australia,
that's amazing.
You can get more tickets and do more niche things, like even like moving into like renewables is a big thing just now. Like obviously we're going to be going down that route as well. So the world's your oyster when you've got a trade behind you. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. And back when we were younger, a trade was a big thing. It was like, I will need a trade, I need a trade.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So
definitely.
I think we need to drum it more into them, to be honest. I think like having, like, see like your Darren and that is doing your roofing academies.
That's an amazing idea.
Brilliant. Like,
that is
I've spoken
top
about that with guys and that, like, doing something like that. Just bring people in for school for a week, 2 weeks, a month's block, just to see if they do like it, see if it's for them, and if no, then
we've been trying to get something like that off the ground for years, and then when I seen Darren was doing it, I was like, that's amazing. Like, you actually got it out of the line, and people's getting the benefit of that. We're kind of in talks with the West Lothian Council. They've like started like a construction forum. We're talking about like how we get into schools with like the demos and stuff. The NFRC and Build Your Future programs, they've already been sort of doing some of this, but they want to take it out on a bigger scale. And there's like, I think it's our generation, I believe, that's going to probably solve this, like the skills shortage. But we might not get the benefits of it, and that's where it's like it's going to be quite probably an unselfish task that we are like. Well, I'm bringing apprentices through. So you're trying to get into schools, you're trying to do things. It's probably, I think, over the next 5-10 years there'll be a lot of academies. Like, I no doubt you'll probably have one. I'll probably have one. Like, it'll just be like, there's probably going to need to be a setup where if you're wanting to bring people through and keep growing your business, you're going to need to have something like that. So I think it's like Darren's idea, and I think maybe the Edinburgh Boiler Company's got one. So and there's probably others as well, but I definitely think like that's the tip of the iceberg. I think it's going to be quite a. I
think it's needed, to be honest.
Definitely. I think this is all like too late, so it's almost like that saying they say, when's the best time to plant a tree? It's like 20 years ago or like now. So it's like we need to start now.
Because they've just followed the same system for years ago, you know what I mean? Like that, get through apprenticeship, but there's not been anything moving with the times. Like people want things quicker, you know what I mean? So like little short academy blocks, things like that, where people realise that's for me, you know what I mean? It helps. Notice the good guys coming through the door.
It helps as well just with the fact that like if people's came and seen it, then they've got a good idea, right? That I actually really enjoyed that. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah. Like if you come and you start an apprenticeship and it's like your first week, you actually maybe like you're maybe there for 2 weeks, then you go off to college for 2 weeks. It's like 2 months in, you could be like, I hate roofing or I hate electrical engineering or
wasting everybody's time.
It's like it could be literally like it could be just a waste of everybody's time. But this is opening new doors. So it's good. It's good that people like Darren and Mark and that, like, they're pioneering it a wee bit, so it's like hats off to them, to be fair. And I know that we're certainly trying to do a wee bit in schools and stuff like that. What's your sort of, where are you at then in your kind of business journey? Like, what's your sort of makeup? You still on the tools? You off the tools? What's your kind of size of team? And
back and forward, on the tools, off
like
the tools.
To be honest,
it's like you say, the skill shortage and stuff like that, but like everybody's busy now, but you'll be good on the tools, I'm good on the tools. You're not going to sit and watch your team suffer, and I like to muck in and show the guys like how it's done and work together. If it needs done, then I'm there, but I'm back forward, off and on the tools, and it's a bit of a mental battle as well. You're like, if I'm on the tools, I'm not concentrating on growing the business, I'm not working on the things that I should be working on, but at the end of the day, that's the bread and butter, that's what keeps the doors open, kind of thing.
You've just got to sometimes do what's needed to survive, if anything, because it's not an easy run, to be honest. It's not an easy feat kind of being in business, so sometimes you just got to make the ends meet, I suppose. Do you sort of price all the jobs and that as well, or like
we use for like bigger, like we do a lot of new builds and that, obviously we're trying to grow that side of the business as well, so we can push into more of the new builds, so we do use estimators and stuff like that, just for the time and obviously experience and things like that, but then obviously I'll look through it all and make sure that nothing's been missed. That's obviously we're making money on it kind of thing. But like smaller jobs than that, like I'm happy to sit and price away, not a problem.
It can sometimes be quite hard, like because like sometimes, and no matter how much accountants or people with like these software programs and that want to say like you need to know your numbers, it's like sometimes you can just get to the end of the job, you've not made money, and it's like it can be a gamble all the time in the construction industry, and it like because there's so many variables. Like for us, it's probably weather's a big one, and just there's so many different things that can come up.
It's just like having like guys that are keeping an eye on like things like if you can't get into certain areas or like downtime or access or waiting on materials.
I've seen you doing kind of like stuff like through the night and stuff like that as well. So do you need to? Are you still in doing the supermarket stuff?
No. That's stopped now. We just got that busy doing like what we're doing the new build stuff and that, and obviously because it is all night shifts on the supermarkets and that, I kind of see the transition of guys coming off at nights to back onto days and all that. And you need just to have a squad on it all the time, kind of thing.
It's hard to kind of scale something like that a wee bit as well. No, that's good. And what sort of what does your kind of week look like then? Is it sort of
Monday to Monday? It goes from Monday, then it's Monday again. Now it's just full on. Now we've got a lot of jobs that are like the new builds. There's a lot of plots to be met, like dates to be met for the habitat and stuff like that. Apartment block on Castle Street coming to an end, so it's like it's all just go now. To be honest, it's
spinning a lot of plates.
Just getting done what needs done to get to a level, a wee break where we can get a breather and I can kind of concentrate on working on the business again. But now, like we're constantly trying to recruit as well. Like we're constantly looking for like good guys. Again, like before, I would just be putting bums on seats. Like, in you come, you're an electrician, in you come. Start Monday. Now it's I'd rather my guys were busier getting extra hours than just bringing guys in that are just going to make an asset and cost us money. And one in, one out.
What is your sort of culture in that then? Have you done some work on like your company values and things like that?
I mean, we've got all that in place. Like a big thing for me over the last couple of years with the whole COVID situation is it's the team's number one. Like before people would be like, oh, your clients are number one. That wait, your team, you're nothing.
Absolutely, it's a good point.
Right now, I reckon we've got a good solid core like foundation team to build on. And that's why I'm saying like we're not just bringing anybody in to join the team.
No, it does make sense. We've been trying to do the same because obviously there is a massive like skill shortage out there. It's hard trying to get people in, and it's like it's so easy just to go, oh, we'll just take anybody on because there's so many applicants come through. But the reality is, it's like trying to hire off of your company values and stuff like that. It's all quite. A lot of people can see it as quite airy fairy, but the reality is, if you want to kind of get a team in and have them sort of keep them sustainable, and have them for a while, then you're going to need to have the culture and you're going to have the values met. Because as soon as somebody comes in and starts to mess with what the team's used to and what the values are, then it's no long before people sort of wanting to sort of vacate kind of thing. So we've got a bit of a job on our hands to just keep on to our existing team and then keep adding to it. It's a real it's a national thing really with the skills shortage. But
everybody you speak to, it's not even just trades. It's everywhere. It's just the world's got mad, mate.
I know. And what do you think we can? What do you think? Is there anything else we can do about it, or is it just kind of keep doing the things we're doing and wait for it to pay off a wee bit? Like we're bringing apprenticeships.
Like I say, I think it's just keep trying to get the younger generation like interested in trades and stuff like that.
How do we reach like the sort of adult ones then as well? Like where do you find that they would normally come from? Is that just somebody wanting a total career change, or?
We've honestly, like every week we get emails, CVs for apprentices, adult apprentices, and it's people for all aspects, all different careers. Like people coming for like hospitality, like that. Look, I'm done with it. I'm wanting a complete career change, or I'm working in an office. It's not for me anymore. I'm wanting to get out. It's all different. I think people's minds have changed. People's mindsets have changed. They've realised this isn't for me. I want to be doing something different. And you know what I mean? It's people that you wouldn't think would actually want to come and be an electrician or a roofer or anything like that. And again, it's not about their skills. It's just what's inside their mind. You know what I mean? If they're willing to learn and they align with your values and stuff like that, then it's worth taking the gamble.
Absolutely. Nah, it's definitely. What would your sort of advice then be? So I know we're probably trying to get people along and into your companies because there's a shortage, but for people that's out there that's in the trade and is thinking about going and starting up their own business, what would you would you be saying to people, go for it? Is there a good time? Is there ever a good time for it? What would your kind of... would you advise it? That's probably what I'm saying.
To the right people, aye. I mean, if you've got it in there naturally, if that's in your mind and your heart and you want to grow your own business and start your own business, and I go for it, but be willing to never stop learning, and you need to work hard. It's not a 9 to 5 job, you know what I mean? It's constant, it doesn't stop, it doesn't slow down, and don't be scared to ask for help as well. Lean on the right people, look at people in the industry and people doing things that you're wanting to be doing. Don't be that's why I'm on your podcast. I reached out just for a chat, but
definitely, mate.
I'm bloody all lights, camera, action. So, but it's just, if electricians, if there's guys going, I'm happy to support them.
We were speaking about that. We were speaking about that in kind of an earlier episode, and it was Jonathan from Newtown that was saying it, but he was saying just networking, reaching out, business coaches, mentors. There's so much help out there, but there is we were kind of having a discussion around is there a stigma then that it's you shouldn't put your hand up and ask for help? But the reality is it's like anything. If you didn't ask for help, how are you going to even improve? Exactly, and you need to bring an awareness to the bits that you don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, on you go.
I was just going to say, I don't know yourself, but me, I went for an electrician, maybe looking after small teams and that, to being a business owner. So it's not like I've climbed up to project manager and all that stuff, getting all the different wee bits. I didn't so there's people out there that are fit for that, and they're the type of people I need in my company because that's their thing. Whereas I didn't know all the answers to that, but when you're the business owner and you're taking on jobs, people look at you you know all the answers, you know all the right answers, you know exactly what you're doing, but you're still learning.
It's plugging them gaps. It's for me, I always found I was quite good with a good people person, could motivate teams and kind of get a bit of a vision and drive people towards it. But in terms of documenting stuff and sort of that side of it, I really struggle with. So I've always had to plug that gap. People in the office, making sure that I'm saying this stuff, but I'm can you document this somehow and be able to because not everybody will learn the same way as I learn, I suppose. So it's I could we do monthly team meetings and stuff like that, and you speak and tell everybody, but some of these people might need it in writing, and that's no my bit. There are loads of bits in the business, I suppose, and that's why you hire a good accountant, and if you're needing a bit of help, you go and speak to mentors, and just networking and that as well, I think really is massive, probably something that's been missing over the last couple of years.
Just surrounding yourself with like-minded people, good people as well, and just be honest and good yourself, know what I mean?
Aye, definitely. What's the future holding for you then? Is
hopefully a big yacht in the middle of nowhere. Like I say, I still feel like I'm only getting started. There's still a lot to come. Obviously, I'm always looking for the right team members to come and join, strengthen the team. And
just keep pushing on.
Yeah, keep pushing.
Not anywhere near done yet then anyway.
Not yet. I mean, the towel's been in and out a few times, toys have been out the pram, but you just got to have a wee word with yourself and get back.
It's hard work, eh?
It's
hard work. It really is. I think
it's everybody sees you when you first start. They see you with vans and look at you and that guy even minted. You didn't know the half of it.
You could. That's the thing. You can be turning over millions and literally not have a penny in your pocket. Exactly. And it's because you're committing everything into the business. You're just reinvesting it, and you're, like you said, you're buying new vans, you're getting new equipment, you're keeping the team right, you're upgrading stuff, you're spending money on marketing and everything else. It's by the time it filters down, sometimes I think there's a lot of business owners out there that certainly in the early stages, they probably sometimes, I've seen it where you maybe make less than the people you're employing at times, and it's so when that kind of changes...
I've applied for an apprenticeship in my own company just to get my wages up.
I don't apprenticeship. Brilliant. So so is that sort of that's the plan? Just keep growing, adding team members in and pushing on.
Like I said, I'm going to be moving into renewables and that as well, because you've got to keep moving with the times, new technology, the way the world's going. So
what side of the renewables stuff is that? I know that all the EV points are coming out now.
We've done that for a while, So that's the next thing would be like the solar and battery storage. Things like that.
And heat source pumps and stuff, is that totally different? It's
it all comes under the same bracket, But in time, obviously you need plumbers,
there,
you need plumbers and stuff like that. So that's massive, but it's available. So.
And is it, so you can see the company going sort of that sustainability route probably.
So I'll need a good partner to put the panels on the roof.
Aye, definitely, aye. I knew there was a reason I got going here. Nah, definitely, mate. No, that's been brilliant, mate. Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thanks
Amazing.
very much, mate.
Brilliant.